Hi, this is JCTA President Brent McKim. I wanted to share with you that the 30 elected members of your JCTA Board of Directors met last Thursday evening and reviewed carefully the preliminary results of the all-member survey that we conducted last week. They identified many issues that our members had raised with their responses to the survey. It became very clear to the JCTA board that ultimately there was a significant lack of meaningful teacher involvement at the school level in the back to school planning, and that this in turn led to a lack of communication about what is in the school's return or reopening plans, as well as a lack of communication that left far too many members with unanswered questions that prevented them from feeling confident that we could have a safe and effective reopening of school. And that was very clearly demonstrated in the answers in the survey. The JCTA board felt that this was an urgent issue and that teachers and other JCTA members immediately needed to have more voice in the return to school planning process, excuse me, and a seat at the table that was co-equal with the administrators in that planning process. So the JCTA board directed the 11 members of the JCTA Executive Committee to immediately reach out to the school district and pursue a memorandum of understanding to be negotiated to provide that kind of a voice for our members at every single school site so that they'd be involved with the development of their back to school plans. The members of your JCTA Executive Committee immediately Friday reached out to the school district, met with top school district leaders, and began that negotiation process that eventually led to the negotiation of a memorandum of understanding that was agreed to by the JCTA Board of Directors and the school district. I want to tell you probably first and most importantly, I want to tell you what is not in that memorandum of understanding. The memorandum of understanding does not specify a specific date for a return to in-person instruction for JCPS. It's completely silent on when we return to school. What it does specify is a meaningful role for our members to have an educator voice in that planning. And it specifies that there will be many safeguards in place when that happens to protect our members and their families. If you check your JCPS inbox, you should have an email that provides an overview of the provisions that are in this memorandum of understanding. If it's not in your inbox, please check your spam, your junk mail, your clutter, or wherever it may be, because you should have it. If you didn't receive it, please contact JCTA so we can get you a copy of it. I'll highlight just very quickly that the key provision in the memorandum of understanding is the creation of a 50-50 committee with half of the members appointed by the elected JCTA building rep at each site and half of the committee members appointed by the building principal to review and revise as necessary and to communicate to the staff the reopening plan at each site. That group will be called the Collaborative Reopening Committee, or CRC. So every school should have a 50-50 CRC, including co-chairs, one administrator and one teacher co-chair, to oversee that process and improve communication and be sure that those plans are thorough and address the needs of the staff and students at the sites. Additionally, the CRCs in each school need someplace to go if they need more assistance or support from the district. So we created a district level CRC with half of the members appointed by the JCTA president and half of the members appointed by the superintendent to hear from the building sites about what they need and how we can support them and to answer their questions. So there's a district CRC as well. The memorandum of understanding also puts in place many parameters on a return to school whenever that occurs. And for example, it requires at both the district level and at the school level that there be a careful review of all the planning from a racial equity lens, using a tool like the REAP to evaluate, to be sure that those reopening plans at both the district and the school levels are equitable in terms of racial equity. Additionally, there are provisions to assure that educators understand the terms of operation when we return in person. For example, the MoU very clearly specifies that no teacher will be required to perform custodial duties. It puts in place accountability provisions to be sure that the school administration at every site is following the district and school reopening plans, including enforcing the wearing of masks. And it creates a mechanism for reporting that if that is not happening. It puts in place safeguards to assure that, that there is a process for applying for a special accommodation if you don't qualify for the Americans with Disability Act personally, but you have someone in your family that is vulnerable in your household or for whom you're a caretaker, and you need a special flexibility for perhaps working from home virtually that would not otherwise qualify for the Americans with Disability accommodation process. There are many other important provisions in this, so please check the email, and you'll find that there are 4 important links in that email summarizing the Memorandum of Understanding. First, there's a link directly to the survey results from our all-member survey. When you open that, it'll be a spreadsheet. If you look across the bottom of the spreadsheet, you'll see there is a different tab for every question showing all the responses to the question, how many people responded with each answer, and a pie graph showing you the percentage of responses for each of those answers. There's also a second link in the email that will take you to the individual questions that were in the all-member survey, and you'll see a few of them are only asked based on the answer to the previous question. Third, there's a link to the full text of the Memorandum of Understanding that we negotiated based on the responses from our members in the all-member survey. And finally, there is a link to an ongoing question and answer document related to the Memorandum of Understanding. So if you have questions about the MOU, they may well already be answered in that document, and it is an ever-changing document. So if you don't have an answer to your question, email us and we'll respond and answer your question, and we'll add that to the Q&A document. So it will be a growing document, and you can check back periodically to see if there are any new questions and answers added to it. Thank you for all you do to support JCTA. Please, again, check your email and learn about the all-member survey results and the Memorandum of Understanding that the JCTA board directed the JCTA Executive Committee to negotiate as quickly as possible so that members could immediately begin to form those CRC committees and have a voice in the back-to-school planning at their sites. Thank you for all you do.